Okay, so welcome to this next video for COMP3218, Game Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name's Dave Millard, I'm one of the lecturers of the course, and I'm here with...
Callum Swarthel.
And Adrian Chapman, another lecturer on the course.
So in this video we're going to have a look at a number of courseworks that the students have handed in for the course for the second assessment. Age, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked them to do?
Absolutely. So for this coursework, they were told to build a prototype that contains a story engine that drives an interactive narrative based on one of 3 fairy tales that they were given.
Brilliant. Okay, so I think our first game is called Savor's Journey. Okay, here we go.
And here we are. So it looks like we have a bit of dialogue going on at the bottom to start the game off.
Naught saved up in the top corner, so, alright.
Yeah, I guess we'll be saving things.
It's the saver. Daughter, mum, dad, and married. Okay. I heard I used to have brothers.
There must be a rumour going around town.
Yeah, we heard that a few times, haven't we?
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see if we can figure out.
Around. So, let's see. There.
That is not who I thought I was, actually.
I thought you were the other one as well.
Yeah.
So there's no controls, nothing to tell you what
tutorial
to do or press,
elements.
Oh, darn. Remember your tutorial coursework, everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be big. Just tell us what the keys are at the very
I'll
least.
just vibrate against the fireplace for a bit.
Okay, so stuff going on.
Oh, here we go.
So you can actually go and talk to them. It's
You
time you knew the truth. When you were young, you were very small and weak, so we decided to tell your brothers to seek help from the witch. That always works, doesn't it? The price they had to pay was huge. She turned them into ravens.
Okay, that's it.
Good luck to Mom.
Try
What does
Mum.
Mom have to say?
No, that is it.
That's it. Okay, that's a bit strange. Shall we sort of wander out, see what's...
Okay, maybe it's a more exploratory style game.
Oh, blimey, I wasn't expecting that.
I can't go back in though.
Home.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so you can go anywhere, although there are suggested
Let's go talk to this tiny man.
Oh, I didn't see
Villager.
that.
Ah, a young adventurer.
He's about 4 foot tall.
Well...
Right. Oh no. Uh-oh, this isn't good.
Oh dear.
We appear to be a little stuck here. Maybe we weren't meant to get this prompt now, or...
Yep, that looks like it's crashed.
Yep.
No, it's not. It's just we can't click to progress the narrative or move.
Yeah.
Alright, let's try this again.
Let's duck out and try again.
Alright, here we go again.
Okay, so second try. At least we know which one we are now.
So I'm guessing we shouldn't leave till we've... I don't know.
Can you leave?
Yeah, try leaving. We've been there, talked to Dad already.
Yeah.
Right, so we ignore this guy.
Yeah,
this
ignore
time.
the guy that crashes the game.
Yeah.
For the minute.
Oh, I'm on the roof. Excellent.
Okay, so we've got some interesting kind of...
We've got some houses here, but they don't seem to do anything right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Follow a path. So we did talk about using paths and things to kind of direct people.
Oh, wow, okay. There's just a fortress here.
That is a big fortress. How you can go in?
Ooh, there's arrows.
There's arrows.
There's lives.
I was going to say this gameplay.
Yes. Off you go.
Alright.
Expertly done.
Yes.
So you've got your health up in the top.
So I can pick up those hearts without... Okay, I'm forced to pick up.
Yep.
Interesting. That seems like a bigger challenge at the start than this one does.
Yeah. You'd think they'd introduce it gradually.
Yeah.
So again, thinking about pacing, put some basic stuff in there.
There is a lot of hearts going.
Whoa, something big's coming at you.
What are those? They're sort of...
Robot enemies that are...
Oh, you've got fireballs.
Why do I have fireballs now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you've got
How did
fireballs.
you
How did you get them?
I don't know!
do you click to fire the fireballs?
Seemingly, but
now they're gone, huh?
I appear to run out of fireballs.
Uh-oh. You're in the corner.
Peculiar.
Run away!
I'm fine.
They're not...
Okay, no, I'm not.
They're not the most frightening of enemies, are they? But they kind of works. Okay. Can we just leave them behind?
Okay, I have to click a certain distance. No, okay, I thought I had it then. Oh, well, I guess we... Wait, they get hit by their own arrows. So we can just stand here and enjoy free...
But they don't...
They don't
seem to be doing anything for them.
I mean, the fireballs didn't seem to hurt them either, honestly.
Let's leave.
Alright. Oh, I got one.
You killed a few. Alright, now...
God, you can get the heart. What's that there?
That's more arrows.
Okay.
Oh, I can shoot the arrows at the sky as well. Oh no, I can't. Can I? Yeah, I can. That one just got zapped.
Okay, so we're making our way
through the mystery.
So we're not quite sure what the dwarf would have told us. Or the dwarf.
The villager.
Which is a very small villager.
We can assume it. Oh no, this looks
So what
bad.
do we actually know at this point? We know that our brothers... Well, actually, in this playthrough, we don't know anything. So we haven't spoken to anybody. Right, so we're just wandering about. So one of the things we're going to talk about later on is how they manage player agency.
Whoa!
What the hell is that?
He's left the room, and now things appear.
What is going on with this? Die, wizard!
Get a
Die!
heart! Get a heart! Oh,
Wizard, you defeated me, but you won't be able to win against the powers of the witch.
I shall make you more powerful if you sacrifice your... Wait,
Your
what?
brother.
there's a brother right up there in that corner. See it?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I
Save
see.
brother or gain power.
What do you think?
Let's save the brother.
Yeah, it is the point of this game.
Okay, let's grab the
Whoa.
heart.
So that's an interesting...
Do we have to go get the brother?
Does that mean I had to go back and fight these guys or something?
Can you go to the raven? Can you go and pick the raven up or anything like that?
There's some weird robots in the way.
Okay.
Alright.
Does that do anything? No. Alright, so perhaps we just save...
I
You saved him, he's just hanging
No,
out.
for science, we've got to...
Shh, don't kill your brother,
Nope.
you just saved him.
Here we go, so we go down here.
I got to make sure what level the mechanics are integrated with the narrative.
Pay attention, you just got shot twice.
Yeah.
It's alright, there's hearts everywhere.
So,
This is actually now genuinely a little tricky to get through.
there have been a few places where we entered the room, there was not a lot, there was maybe arrows, and after we left the room,
It suddenly
the
appeared
enemies
behind
spawned.
us.
So
Yeah.
there's some weird on events going
So
on.
either that's not working, or they are being deliberately punishing by just generating enemies for no reason. Oh, okay.
We have entered the abyss.
Well, this is free.
Hang on, can I walk through these walls the whole time? No, okay.
So if you can... okay.
This might be a slightly buggy build of this game.
What do they say in the game notes?
The game notes.
What's supposed to happen here?
7 ravens, the daughter learns, right, second scene is outside, towards the castle. Third is in the castle. The player reaches the castle, she needs to fight 3 wizards and 1 witch. After each fight with the wizard, the player either has a choice to save her brother or increase her power, which result the player to fire more fireballs. Based on the previous decision, other dialogues are different.
Right, you're supposed to be able to fire more fireballs, because I saved my brother, and I definitely feel like I've had a fireball power-up as well.
The game has 3 possible endings, depending on the choice the player makes from previous rooms. Saving 3 brothers until the last room makes the witch fight really hard, which most probably lead the player to lose and become the raven in the end. If the player comes with 2 brothers to the witch's room, the player is more likely to defeat the witch and save 3 brothers at the end. The last path is the bad path. If the player comes in with 1 or 0 brothers after the player kills the witch, she will become the new witch. So we're not really seeing a lot
So,
No, we're not.
should I ignore the village?
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Do you want me to ignore him again, or?
No, just see if it works this time.
No.
Nope, no. And my fireballs are frozen in midair.
This is a shame. Okay, so I think we should...
we just mark this as we can.
Just mark it as we
Keep
can,
playing as we- keep going as well.
and while we're doing that, you can try different combinations to see if you can get any further.
Yep.
So in terms of presentation,
So
what do we think?
I actually there's some information presentation here, right? You've got your health.
Yeah, you've got the number
You've got the number
saved.
that you've saved so far.
The dialogues will come up at the bottom.
Yeah.
They seem quite separate.
We were a little upset originally about not having tutorials about which buttons to push, but they got figured out in the end, except for this.
And the graphics are fairly consistent.
Yep. Is the sound down? Do we have music, or is there no sound?
I don't
I
think
think there's
the
no
sound.
sound. So let's have a look. So in terms of satisfactory, that would be key information is shown, consistent graphics, and some audio. It's not quite there, I think.
I don't think the
I don't
graphics are
think
quite
they're
consistent,
there.
so we can look at these for example. These are 2 very different styles of sprite,
Yes.
for example.
A pass would be some attempt at information design, consistent but poorly chosen graphics, and some poorly chosen audio. And pass would be information design is not sufficient, serious inconsistency with the graphics, absent or poorly chosen audio.
I'm sorry, was that a poor or a pass?
That was the poor. So it feels to me that actually the information design is satisfactory.
Yeah.
The graphics are pass and the audio is poor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a
pass.
Pass overall.
Agreed.
The first wizard is behind you when you enter the castle.
Oh.
Oh really?
Yes.
Behind you?
Yes.
Okay, so what, you have to go back into the room you left and then it was there?
Yeah, but he's not giving me a dialogue prompt.
Where is the wizard?
Where was he? Oh, there's your first brother.
Yeah, but I didn't
You
get
didn't save him.
I didn't get the option
So you
to.
walked through this room and it appeared behind you?
I just saw the room behind me, so I walked down and.
Oh, I see. So what happens if you go down the bottom then? Is that a completely different route?
I don't know.
Has that gated you so you can't go back?
I don't think so. I think
So
that's
this
a
is a
sprite
different
glitch.
way than you went last time?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh,
Definitely.
okay. So maybe it is there, it's just that they failed to stop you wandering off the end of the corridor. They just assumed you go, oh, a dead end, and turn around again.
Oh, yes. Here's clearly where we find the second wizard.
Yeah. And
Or
then
a
we go
wit.
and then we go the other way.
Oh, for God's sake.
They're going a bit faster.
So I'm just going to
Okay.
straight.
What do we think about the gameplay? So what mechanics?
You're not shooting anything. What are you doing?
I'm trying to shoot them.
So one of the things that's a real problem is that the fireballs are and your ability to fire fireballs
Oh, okay.
is part of the sacrifice you're making and the choices you're doing. But it's not clear what that is or how that works or why. It seems very, very inconsistent.
It feels like the commands are like the controls are buggy rather than actually being a part of the gameplay.
Yeah.
I've just lost the ability to fire. I
So
have
in
no
terms
idea
of-
why.
So, I mean, in terms of gameplay then, so the controls are a bit sticky. There are some aspects of the gameplay I quite like. I quite like the kind of the sort of the dodging around the
The arrows, yeah.
and the different configurations give you different types of challenge, and,
Yep.
and that's all okay actually.
There's a bit of rhythm game aspect kind of put into
There's
it.
not a lot of other mechanics though. There's obviously you're exploring. There's the dialogue mechanic, which doesn't.
You're gonna
Did
get
you have
some.
any choices or not? Did you just have next?
There's no choice in the dialogue other than those save. No, stop murdering me.
Well, there's a problem there that if it's going at the same speed as you.
I can't seem to get it to die. Ah, there we go. I'm no longer stuck inside it. That's nice.
So in terms of gameplay then, satisfactory would be a set of mechanics and usable controls that lead to some meaningful play. Is
I
it
don't
quite
feel like
there?
we're really there, actually.
I could see it if the fireball mechanics weren't so frustrating.
Pass would be fewer inconsistent mechanics, challenging controls, leading to limited meaningful play. Feels like that's where we are.
Yeah, I do too.
And bugs. So, well, we've clearly got a game-ending bug with the villager at the beginning. It's not a game-ending bug, but the fact that you can walk off the end of the corridor, that they haven't capped it, that's problematic as well.
Absolutely.
So Pass is a simple game. The game is playable, but there are frequent serious bugs. And Satisfactory is there are some infrequent serious bugs and or frequent minor bugs. It feels probably at the maybe just about getting to Satisfactory level.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, depends about what we think about complexity.
I actually think they've tried to do actually a lot of complexity in this. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces.
So let's give them benefit of the doubt then and say that for bugs we'll give them the Satisfactory.
I
yeah?
agree.
Okay, so story engine. So this is the idea that choices you make in the story are reflected in changes in the game world, and things you do in the game world affect the story. What choices are you making?
Where I fight.
Have we made any choices?
No.
Save or kill.
Yeah, you can save and kill your
Okay.
brother.
So we get asked if we want to, and that's it. So if we do that, so if we make that choice, then it affects the game world because we get an extra power. Yep.
Yep.
And the number of choices we've made, do they? But there's nothing. There's nothing we do in the game world that affects the story, is there? There's kind of.
I don't know. I mean, we skipped the...
We make choices in the game world, and it impacts the story.
This is getting increasingly mean.
We make choices in the story, and it impacts the game world. But there's nothing we do in the game world that impacts the story, I don't think.
So, did we not save the Raven, and we're still reading 0
Ugh.
save? Whoa!
That is nasty. I guess we found the witch. That looks...
That's the wizard, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's the wizard from before.
Alright, we're safe. Don't worry.
The wizard's trapped behind their own minions.
So I think for the story engine, Satisfactory would be a simple story engine that has limited integration with the game world. There are some examples when the story impacts the game world or is impacted events from the game world. So I think that I don't even think it's quite there actually.
No.
Because I don't think that it has that much integration with the game world.
Thank you.
So pass would be a basic story engine with poor integration with the game world. Few examples where the story impacts the game.
I'm not feeling
I feel it's probably in a pass.
Yeah.
We're struggling really to justify the existence of the story engine. It is just there, but it's just that one decision. That's all that's going on.
So it seems like there's meant to be 3 decisions, but even though it's the same decision 3 times.
I mean, core would be some support for story elements, but no real story engine. I think it's better than that.
Why do I just keep periodically losing the ability to shoot when I'm in these corridors?
Given that there is, what happens at the end? Is there some
make
sort
it
of
to the end.
cumulative effect of your choices?
So it depends on how many brothers you end up saving or sacrificing in the final outcome.
Yeah.
So basically, depending on how many you saved, if you have 3 of them saved, the witch is really. There's more likely.
So I think if they've got that as well, then I think that probably does at least count as a pass for the story engine. It is there, but it just has poor integration.
But we haven't saved this. So interestingly, we've now passed how many ravens? 2 to 3 ravens.
2 ravens so
far.
We
haven't saved anybody.
No options to save.
But let's see what happens.
I'm still going in a different way to that.
Are you still going the opposite direction?
Yeah. So it feels like there's just 2 levels or something. Those arrows are taking each other out. I'm just tanking them to the face. Okay. So if I can... So your ability to fire fireballs depends on which direction you're firing in. I can't fire to my left. Oh, I can...
You have to be facing the right direction.
Jesus, it never explained that. Okay. Now I get it. That explains a lot.
Right.
I didn't even realise that was an...
Go down the middle. Here you are. Follow the fireballs.
See, it seems to have assumed that I've just...
Yeah.
Got the power up every time.
Well, we got it. Okay, let's think about the poetics of this then. So, how much does the mechanics theme with the story? Well, they've gone with the...
They've gone with the Raven. There's a quest.
It's thematically resonant, I guess.
You have to make sacrifices along the way.
Although the sacrifices are kind of odd because you're not getting extra things rather than giving up things you have, which I think is problematic. But they've clearly tried, right? Yeah. They've got an attempt to make it fit. So satisfactory is gameplay. Narrative and gameplay do not interfere with one another, but the mechanics have little to do with the themes of the story. It's probably a bit better than actually. Narrative and gameplay complement one another as the key mechanics are in keeping with the themes of the story. But where do we think? Do you think it's satisfactory, or do you think it's a bit better than satisfactory? So satisfactory was they do not interfere with one another.
I don't think it's quite satisfactory. I think a little beyond satisfactory.
So maybe halfway between satisfactory and good.
It's not that they don't interfere. They're just not quite as complementary as they could be.
So what about the techniques? So that's pacing and the way that the story is told. So they've got kind of the little dialogue things that come up.
Yeah.
Is that all they have?
Menu.
I think.
I think so.
It's a big heart. I think you might be coming up to your final battle.
Okay.
So they tell the story through the dialogues.
Yep.
Pacing. They've got the
There's little mini boss battles going on.
Yeah. So
and it looks like there might be a big boss battle coming.
And it looks like they're giving you a big heart. So here comes the witch. I'm guessing.
But we haven't saved any brothers.
Well, you saved 2 ravens this way, right?
But unfortunately our ticker for saved ravens hasn't...
Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, do you have to go and save the other raven the other way?
Oh, maybe. Oh,
that's a long way, right?
Oh, jeez, why? Yeah, it is a lot.
So that is quite painful that they dump you in the middle and you've got to go all the way back on yourself in order to go and get one of the ravens.
Even Dark Souls gives you the ability to teleport when it's still.
Yeah, if you're being harsher than Dark Souls, that's a sign, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so techniques then.
So there is pacing. I actually think there is pacing.
There is. I wouldn't say it's ascending though, but I say that it has these sort of sections to it.
It does,
and it feels like. I mean, let's assume that there's a climactic battle with the witch somewhere.
Yeah, let's assume that.
Hopefully we'll find it. So if that's the case, there is a clear final peak. So satisfactory is some ascending pacing, use of at least one game writing technique. And it kind of feels that that's probably where this is. Mm-hmm. So satisfactory for technique. What do they say for their feedback?
Feedback. They received feedback was adding extra options to saving the Raven, like giving up from something such as life. In response to that, we designed the game where the player must abandon the extra powers to save the Ravens. This gives choice to player to how they want to play the game, and also these decisions change how the game flows. In some cases, the player must choose strategically in order to win.
Yeah.
Except for that very first one, though, we haven't made it. I mean, in the first game where we kind of failed out and the game died, we haven't been asked for a choice at any point in this part of the.
I'm trying. I think it's just assumed that I've killed my brothers every time because I've got 0 save, but I've definitely got more fireballs than I did at the start.
Yeah.
So okay, that's interesting. So why is it not giving you the choice on this playthrough?
Are we? Because there's one, but we were never asked at this wizard point. You know, we were always just attacked. Is this a bug? Is this?
See, all right. Now I've finally reached the other half of the.
Okay, we're on the other half.
All right.
I'm wondering whether maybe the system assumes you'll go this way first.
Maybe.
Because the only time we ever got it was when we went this way.
Yeah.
So it does seem like you're meant to go this way. There's definitely more hearts this way.
Yeah. So I'll just go
and this level is definitely. This is the only one I think that's had no.
Yeah, we don't have to kill everything. Just go.
Stop killing everything. Go and learn.
It might be narratively significant.
Yeah, and if it is, we'll find out.
Right.
You're just farble happy now that you've figured out how
I've
to
got
actually
20,000 of them now.
Because you kept murdering your ravens, brothers. That's why.
Not intentionally.
Right, so
right. This is the point where
So there should be a wizard coming up here.
So I think the problem is that it. No.
So you should trigger down here.
Back there.
Why is that? That is so odd.
There's definitely some.
So the thing is, there we go.
It seems to me you went to bring us the powers of the witch.
I've defeated 3 of the other wizards. I think I've killed the witch.
Have you killed the witch already?
Well, I said there's 3 of these wizards. So if I save brother, ow.
Yeah.
So I've still 0 save. But,
yeah, so there's some bugs going on here.
But I've killed 3 other wizards, and I think it said there was 3 wizards and a witch on my...
Yeah.
So I think I may have accidentally killed the witch as well.
Yeah, okay. It's quite confusing as what's going on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, sorry, we were talking about their feedback, so...
That was the feedback.
So basically the whole mechanism about sacrifice is what they put in there.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, they have put it in there, and it does help. So I would say that satisfactory is feedback was articulated and some changes have been made with partial success. Pass would be feedback was not well articulated, but some changes have been made with limited success. So that they have given some feedback.
Can you walk back in the other side?
That's what I'm trying to do.
There has been some success, but it really is quite.
Yeah,
it's not a lot, right? I mean, they've done a little bit.
I'm not even sure that the feedback was all that well articulated.
And also, they've not really understood the sacrifice theme. They've kind of because you're not giving up something you already have.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this might be a pass. Feedback was not well articulated, but some changes have been made.
I agree with that.
Right. I'm not entirely sure if I can stand to watch you wander around in the darkness for much longer.
I think we're done on this game. Actually,
I think we should move on.
All right.
Okay, so our next game is called RavenDev.
Is it a Raven developer or
who knows?
Name
new text. Excellent.
Name new text. That's what we like to see. Continue.
Oh
dear.
Promising start. I can at least move.
Can you input your name?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I wonder whether this is a resolution problem. And they've pulled the dialogue off the bottom.
Yeah.
So the idea it's off the screen and then it scrolls up and you come. Okay. Do you really feel it's necessary to go and search your brother? They've been gone for years. I have accepted that I may never see them again. But I understand your decision. I'll unlock the gate and you may search for them. I wish you luck, child. Okay, yeah. I think
that's just a resolution problem.
So, should we restart it or try and
No, we can make this. You must talk to your father before you set off to save your brothers.
You did that already.
Right, now try and go
Swear.
through. There you go. So there's a bug there, right?
Yeah.
The logic isn't quite right.
Tells us a little bit about the story engine as well. In the sense of it's clear it's not tracking things globally. It's sort of.
So you got a path. It's kind of and you're being railroaded as well. Myself. There is a clearing just ahead.
I talk to myself too.
You spot a lone raven pecking away at the soil. Could it be
Dinner?
one of my brothers?
Oh, okay.
Choice 1, call out to the raven. Choice 2, quietly approach the raven.
Dinner.
Quietly approach the raven. Are you doing that or is it doing that?
I'm doing that.
Okay.
Is that a raven?
No, it's a tree.
It's a tree.
Brother Chris. Brother is.
Where's the raven?
I think the log might be the raven.
Okay.
See?
It's been so long. I'd forgotten you look like a log.
Wait, how did you save him?
2 more of our brothers
I
are in some
don't know.
trouble up ahead. I am too weak to aid you. I am sorry. Okay?
I am skeptical how much a raven could do as well.
I'm going to head home to father. It's been too long. Before I go, I saw some goblins leave up the path to the north. Could be something important up there. Okay, we get a clue. So again, a little bit of suggestion, making us go up north.
No, I'm going to ignore him.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of fighting goblins.
You're that kind of player.
Oh, I've discovered that I can shoot.
Oh, okay. So again,
based on the direction I'm travelling in. So there is facing in this.
Ever so handy to tell us these things.
It's not a very long range attack. But
No. You're told that, isn't it?
Alright.
Again, it might seem longer range if you were actually zoomed in.
Yeah, that's true.
Ahead you see an abandoned town teeming with goblins.
I went east, not north.
Yeah.
2 more ravens are about to be devoured.
Oh, fighting those goblins further back will have caused a reduced number of enemies to spawn here. Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a little bit of kind of telling you what the consequences might be.
There's your
That's
2
quite
ravens.
nice, giving you a bit of feedback.
Oh god, they have the exact same fight range. I don't want to do this.
Do we have any health reading somewhere?
Somewhere, I imagine, if
I
it's...
don't know.
How do I... Oh yeah, directly above me. There.
Directly above you?
So,
I see it. Little red bar.
So I'm just going to say, this combat is frustrating, because there's
Yeah,
no...
It's just too it's too much.
It is...
Isn't it?
How fast can you mash the spacebar?
Can you go and just go up to the logs?
I was going to
ravens.
go for a drink.
Oh, there's a goblin.
Brother Dave.
Oh, there's a goblin.
Nothing I can do about this.
You're talking.
Shh, go away, Brother Dave. How do I heal? Is there any kind
Help you save Brother Clive, but we are weak in our form. We'll return home to father. Brother Clive.
Nope. Okay,
Right,
should we just...
save the other raven?
Hang on, I'm just going to clip this guy behind the
Where's the
hat.
other raven gone? You saved both.
Wow, there's another
I think I
goblin
saved both at the
behind
same time. I'm just trying to get rid of those goblins. And...
Well, I don't think you need to. Just go home to your father now, I guess. Oh, swamp ahead. Watch out for poison. Well, why are you going this way?
And how do you get any health back?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm pushing all the keys on the keyboard and nothing seems to give health back so far. Just in case there was a hidden health potion or
You
something.
never know.
So, why would you go through the poisonous swamp anyway?
I don't
know. Any brothers back there?
Nope.
What's
Goblins. Oh, let's go this way.
So I feel quite lost.
Oh, I found Clive.
Yay!
I thought we saved Clive.
No.
Okay, Clive is the one we didn't.
Help you get Clive.
Oh, I see.
But Dave and Clive were together in the village a minute ago.
Oh.
Thankfully, any goblins I took down earlier will be absent in this battle. What about? Oh no. Okay. Ah!
More goblins!
You're
My health has gone up a little bit somehow.
Just run around and find
Clive.
Come on, Clive, where are you?
Clive!
There's Clive!
No!
Wait, before the goblins
You
get
saved
you.
my brother, thank you.
Alright, I saved Clive.
Now get out of here.
Is that it?
No. I don't know.
Don't get cornered.
Run away!
Run away! Run away, the game.
There was a poisonous swamp.
Yeah, swamp.
This is the swamp.
I've come into the swamp from the other side.
Don't hit any of the poisonous blocks, I guess, that's what they are. Oh my goodness.
It's quite tight.
It is quite tight, isn't it?
Alright,
Ah,
just...
pretty good.
Alright.
It's an optimum strategy.
There's nothing in the swamp though.
No, it's just a way through.
Just a
okay.
So I think the idea is they give you a choice. You can either go through just go straight there, or go through the horrible poisonous swamp.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Now we can go back and go north.
But it's not immediately clear. It seemed like two different routes, which makes it less of a choice and more of a this happens to be a shortcut.
So if we go back to our
that was
that's where the goblins was, wasn't it?
No,
that was a chest. So you find great power.
Your max health has increased to 50.
Yay! We actually got a...
Weirdly, that is more useful after you've fought some goblins.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go back to the house... And the path...
How many ravens did we save? 4?
4. There should be 3 more out there somewhere.
Well, I thought you said
goblins to the north
at some point.
Father
doesn't want to talk to you. You didn't slave all your brothers yet.
I thought it said you had 3 in this one.
I think it's...
Oh, we got Dave, Clive, and who was the first one?
Chris.
Yeah, I think it's 3. I think you've saved 3.
What
does it say in the game notes?
Game notes. Well, there's 7 ravens. An adventure game or an RPG. Players make choices, which either lead to brothers being saved or they perish. I didn't realize brothers could die. But saving them has drawbacks such as more enemies appearing elsewhere. That's a story. It is based on dialogue. When you approach entities, dialogue window pops up, showing a conversation or monologue. At some point, you have a choice between 2 possible options. The option you choose is saved in the variable in the story manager object, and then the story changes depending on what you've done. The narrative is affected by which elements of the game world you interact with and how. Choosing to fight the goblins or avoid them changes your abilities later in the story, such as how many goblins you will meet at the end. So, it looks like...
So I think you've explored everything. Have you got the structure there?
Yep, I'm looking at the structure now.
How many ravens are there?
I'm trying to figure that out. So let's see. After walking through the woods, you stumble across 3 goblins preparing to cook their dinner.
Hang on, did they actually do any damage? Not really.
Huh.
So if you watch them... Oh, wait a second. So no matter what, you, after watching the goblins cook dinner, which I don't remember watching goblins cook dinner, you find 3 dead ravens as part of their dinner. Then you move on, and you come across an abandoned town.
Okay, we got
which
that.
We got there. You speak quietly to the raven, or there's 1 raven there. Sorry, still skimming.
Should we try playing this again? And let's try a different approach now and see if we get something different going on. And while we're doing that, we can have a chat about some of the.
So it looks like, as of here, there's only 3 brothers total that you could save.
Yeah. I think you'd saved all the ravens and the game ended. They just didn't bother telling you.
I think so too.
But I think maybe what's happened is the first time we rushed in and saved the ravens and fought goblins, and maybe if you hang back, something else happens.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Should we maybe mark while we're
let's go through
play
it.
the second round?
Presentation. I think we should set aside the
absolutely.
Issues. I think,
absolutely.
You can imagine there being an interesting frame around it.
So is there music? Is this volume up?
There's no music. The graphics are consistent.
They are consistent.
The animations are very floaty.
Yeah.
Because there isn't an animation.
There is information about like your health and the goblin's health.
Yeah, the health bar on the player is quite nice. It's a shame I
thought it was part of his hat, but
it's
that's
not part of his hat.
Oh, interesting. If you call out to the raven, goblins appear.
Yes, because you warn they hear you and they come after you according to their notes.
Oh, there you go, Brother Chris. Okay, so I kind of the graphics are consistent.
Yeah.
There's no audio. Information design is pretty minimal.
Yeah, but it's there.
But there.
We haven't, unfortunately, as in the last one, said there's no tutorial. So it was by accident you discovered how to shoot your weapon.
Okay, so let's have a look. So for presentation,
You can't go through there until you need help. That's actually very sweet. Did you see that, Dave?
What was that?
So this down that passage is where we know the health potion is.
Yeah.
It's currently blocked off.
But I'm injured already.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're not injured enough.
Okay,
Go get more damage.
I'll come back later.
And Brother Chris told you to go up there, didn't he?
Yeah, he says could be something important up there, and it's now blocked off.
And you go up there and it's blocked. So I think there's some issues here with the gating. Okay, so presentation-wise, a satisfactory would be key information is shown, consistent graphics, and some audio. It doesn't feel like it's there.
It's not there.
A pass would be some attempt at information design, consistent but poorly chosen graphics, some poorly chosen audio.
I think
so. I think the graphics are better than that.
But I think the audio is exactly.
So probably a pass for presentation.
I think that's where this is.
Okay, so gameplay. So that's controls and there's mechanics. So what are the mechanics we've got here? You've got this little fire thing which doesn't go very far.
Yeah.
You take damage.
Yeah.
Dialogue boxes.
You wander around.
You have dialogue boxes.
And is that it? I think. So I think part of the problem here is the actual mechanic you've got, that short range fire. It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
It would work if the firing rate was slower for both you and the goblins, because then there would be some skill at dashing in,
firing
and
away.
dashing out again. But
Yeah.
because it's just a free for all basically. It sort of minimises the skill a little bit.
As is, it just feels a little bit like mashing space to defeat enemies. And
see my brother Clive mixed up in a goblin encampment.
so I killed all the... No, there's still... Oh, they can kill their friends. Alright, that's at least nice.
Sort of teleported around a bit.
So I'm just gonna get them to kill each other. And
So gameplay, pass would be a few or inconsistent mechanics, challenging controls leading to limited meaningful play. And I think that is where we are.
I do too.
Bugs. Well, we've got quite a few little narrative inconsistencies and things not opening up correctly
the way they're supposed to,
and not quite lining up.
Yeah.
But the main gameplay seems to be okay. We've not seen anything that kills the thing.
No.
So satisfactory would be infrequent serious bugs and or frequent minor bugs.
my health go up going through the swamp.
I think it might have gone up. I don't think the swamp hurt you at all.
But it assumes a certain level of complexity. So pass would be the same, but the game is simple. It feels it's not that simple.
It's not that simple, actually.
Here,
there is a bit complexity here.
So I'd be happy with satisfactory.
I would too, actually.
Okay. Right, story engine. So the choices you make, do they impact the game world, and does the game world reflect the state of the narrative?
Oh wow, you're actually getting...
The left side of my health bar is getting longer as I cross through the swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that appears to be a bug.
Which we already got there.
I think I've got... Okay.
So at least you can see it now. So what choices do we actually make?
So you get to make choices of whether you call out to your brother or not.
Yeah. So what else was there though? What other choice did we have?
So there's definitely a missing scene in here because there's at some point some goblins having dinner, and you get to have a choice of whether you watch them or attack them immediately. Interestingly, if you attack, so no, in terms of saving your brothers, the same as there's always 3 dead ravens. But if you attack them, there's fewer goblins for later, right? So I think can't promise. This seems to be implying that the number of goblins is fixed in this game, and you can basically spread them out by.
So the problem is that not a mechanical choice? So you're fighting the goblins, and if you kill them, there's just fewer goblins later.
Yeah.
It's like saying in Space Invaders, if you kill the invaders, then there's fewer of them.
Yeah.
Later on to destroy your base. It's like, well, that's the mechanics of the game.
It's making no difference to the actual narrative and the story.
There's no different story thing at all.
Absolutely.
The game.
So there is the one where it does matter is the one where you can choose to call out to them, but even then it's a very, very minor thing. Where so for me, I think we have almost no story engine here.
Especially given I can't find an ending.
No. So the story. So a pass would be a basic story engine with poor integration with the game world. there are very few examples where the story impacts the game world, or it's impacted the game world. And a poor would be there is some support for story elements, but no real story engine. The story has no real impact on the game world and is not really impacted by events there. I'm actually wondering whether we're at a poor here. There's very little interaction between what you're doing and the narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to agree. I can't really see anywhere that the mechanics meaningfully impact the narrative.
I mean, there are definitely story elements. They've got the dialogue thing going on, and they kind of framed the whole thing, but nothing more than that. So I think that's going to have to be a poor.
I do too.
In terms of agency, is it an interactive story? Are there interesting choices, and have they managed player agency?
I don't know that you have any choice. You go around and kill things.
No, there's that one where you can either call out or not.
Yeah.
And all it does is attract some goblins.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really any interesting choices.
I don't.
In terms of a branching story, there isn't really.
So there are two split merges.
But they're
basically, do you call out or not?
Yeah.
Or do you interrupt the goblins at dinner?
And
or
the narrative,
not?
and then mechanical. They're not. What they've given you is a flowchart for some parts of the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
Not the kind of narrative events that are unfolding.
Yeah.
Could you fail to save your brothers, other than dying?
I can't see a way to here.
So let's see. One brother dead. You collect the remains.
But how does one of the brothers end up dead?
Yeah, exactly. If there's a battle, a medium wave of goblin appears. This raven assists you. So at some point, a raven might come in and try to assist you, but we haven't seen any of that.
No, it feels to me that what you have there is the design that they tried to get going, and they just haven't implemented it. Yeah. But here, look, there's two ravens here, right? So
come on, ravens, get in the game.
So this is what I missed earlier on. So if you go and save one of the ravens,
watch the dialogue. Yeah.
The raven's going to attack me while I'm in the middle of the dialogue.
But does the other raven disappear, or? Because you saved one raven.
So they've now gone. I think it's just assumed that's two, and Clive is up there.
Yeah, but then it's only one. Okay, that is quite confusing. All right, so agency. I think we have a problem here. I think we've got almost no interactive story at all.
Yeah, me too.
A poor would be an interactive story with few branching points, few choices, and player agency is problematic.
I don't think we're
Absent would be a story with no branches or choices of consequence.
And this is the question: are these branches narrative or mechanic?
They're just. I mean they. So I would say that the fact that it's presented to you as a call out or not, and there's a different mechanic for activating it, means that it kind of takes them away from absolute nothing. Right?
Yes.
But I still think that it counts as absent, right? Because it's the only thing in there, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that the agency has to be absent for what the implementation is. I think for what they've described it may be slightly more. But poetics. The narrative is the story and the gameplay in conflict. What's going on here?
I actually feel like I actually think in this case it doesn't hurt it, right? I think thematically you are on a quest to save your brothers.
Yep, so that works.
There's no sacrifice really involved in this game, but that's
satisfactory is the narrative and gameplay don't interfere with one another.
Yeah.
But the key mechanics have little to do with the themes of the story. And pass would be narrative and gameplay have some conflicts. Some of the mechanics go against the themes of the story. You're right. It doesn't feel like it's in the way. It just feels completely
separate.
You know. And as you said, at least thematically, it's there.
We're on a quest to get our brothers right.
So I think the poetics might still be satisfactory.
I think so too.
Okay, techniques. So pacing, game writing techniques. So we've got the dialogue. So there's one game writing technique that they've used.
There's definitely an increase in terms of pacing.
You really like the Pinocchio health bar, don't you?
I want to get to the end of the screen.
I'm not sure about the pacing. I mean, there is some. So you start off with the conversation with your father, and then you kind of meet a couple of goblins, and then you meet the so again it's the
more goblins.
So again it's beats, but there's no climax. There's no kind of real.
There's potentially a little bit of narrative pacing as well.
And in fact, we've kind of hit a problem in all of this that even when we save all the ravens, there hasn't been
nothing
ending.
happens. So I would say that Satisfactory is some ascending pacing, used for at least one game writing technique. And Pass is pacing unclear or flat, partially successful attempt to use to one gaming technique. I would say that there is some ascending pacing. And they have used one technique, but it's just, is it successful, I suppose?
Success.
Does this count as ascending pacing? That's what I'm struggling with.
Right. Look, he's left the swamp and he triggers the swamp warning. Sorry.
So I think there is a minor amount of ascending pacing in the form of you start out finding your brother, and if you sneak up on him, nothing really happens.
So
and then you have two brothers who are quote-unquote at risk, even if they can't actually die.
Well,
it's a tiny amount. But
so should we go between the two? So between Pass and Satisfactory?
Yeah.
And what about the feedback? What feedback did they get?
Oh, let's see the feedback. We were given some feedback during our... The main criticism was that we should consider the scope. The initial idea of the game was making a complex RPG involving an inventory system and a rather long gameplay, although with basic battles. We have considered that due to time constraints, we must indeed limit the scope of the project. We have decided to abolish the inventory system and focus solely on the story, a dialogue system with different possible choices, with the game responding to the choices you make. We've kept a basic battle system with hit points and attacks. There. So
that's it. Okay. Well, I mean, they clearly did manage the scope.
They did.
And actually that bit works. It's just that the other things that they tried to add in didn't work.
Yeah. I think they articulated the feedback and they tried.
So that would be probably Satisfactory. Feedback was articulated and some changes being attempted with partial success.
Agreed.
But that said, actually, though, is it a partial success given that it's still not a finished game?
Well, yeah, but they've taken away the things and that's been successful.
Yeah.
It's enabled them to focus on the things they've done. And I think it's partial success because what they've not done is replaced it with the other things that needed to be in there. And that's why, for me, I would say it's only a partial success. But that's still a satisfactory for feedback. Okay,
all right.
We should probably move on.
Yes. So I did deliberately save this one to not be the first one because it's got quite a fun intro.
Okay, so our next game is Nevar.
Oh, there we go. So this bit I quite like. Not this bit.
Very nice.
Nevar. Oh,
that bit.
Welcome, Nevar. Click here.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. It's okay. To move, use WASD.
So I can't actually use WASD yet.
Yeah, that's a shame. I think if you're giving people the instructions, you should
make them do it. Yeah.
So if you're going to do it this way, it's functionally the same as just dumping them all on the screen at once.
Yeah, you can jump in space.
Oh.
Ooh.
Venture into the world and help those in need.
The graphics look like they could be very atmospheric, actually. I think I played this in the expo.
Don't waste time. You have a quest.
Here you go.
So that jump feels a little bugged.
It does, isn't it? Nevar, your sister is sick. What should I do? So, you must go to the well and get some water. I remember this. In the expo, the well is miles away. Miles away.
Oh no, okay.
Oh, there's a...
Can I... Oh, it's 3D. I thought it was one of these that was sort of 3D, but a 2D platformer.
Yeah. There's another person over there. What's the
We're
sign saying?
Alright, let's go chat to them then, I guess.
So nothing. Do you have a coin to spare?
Filthy wench, be gone!
Okay.
Well, that was passionate.
Yeah, you put a little bit too much feeling into that. Right.
Alright. You got a nice forest here?
Okay, but is this the way to the well or not?
I don't know.
There was a signpost in it.
But there's
wasn't
nothing
there?
on it.
Hello.
But it doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't do anything.
Just
Bit of dynamic lighting there.
on the one hand, it does say we can go either way.
Yes.
It looks good though, doesn't it?
It does look good.
Nothing like a bit of dynamic lighting to...
Oh, I found a castle.
Some sort
Found a tiny bit of a castle. Oh, people! Is that a cult? Let me go.
Let's go
Can
to
you
the
go in?
woods.
Can you go in? Or can you
I
not
can't
go
seem
in?
to get through.
Okay.
I can't seem to join. I guess I have to go down the other path to get to the cult.
Okay, so you have
I
to stick on
can't
the
leave the path.
I kind of like that. I hate being able to wander. Too many choices. I like being constrained in my choices.
Ah, there we go. There's a path. We can go this way. Let's go see the cult.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
what's
there's
that?
a,
It's
sort
a
of a beach.
watchtower? Beach house?
Yeah.
Volleyball tournament? No, tennis, isn't it? Tennis is the one with a really big chair.
It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
lifeguard
I'm
hut.
American. I saw that and I thought that's a shooting blonde.
Oh,
What
we're a
about
knight.
that?
Oh, who knew?
We got promoted.
Who are you?
Alright. Who are you?
Artistically salvaged goods.
Alright.
They're lovely. Farming tools.
Alright.
Okay.
You can have my coin.
Did you get the farming tools?
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I got farming tools.
So we bought some farming tools off the cult.
Do we need farming tools?
Why are merchants standing in a clearing in the middle of the night in the dark?
Because they're legitimate merchants.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they're totally
They
not
told us they
bandits,
were
Dave. Okay, so...
I keep expecting David Hasselhoff to leap out that tower as well. And save somebody. Right.
Oh, a
somebody
person.
else. Help me.
What's up?
What's wrong?
Oh.
Why do you... I'll help you. Wait here.
So it's clearly not acknowledged that we already have the farm tools here.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we talked about when I spoke in the expo was that originally there was supposed to be a sort of a time limit to this.
Uh-huh.
And the idea was is that you had these kind of quests and then you'd be sacrificing your time in order to help people.
Right.
So you kind of, it was like, oh, do I go and get the water from the well to save my sister or whatever the
Oh,
premise
yeah,
was
that's
or
a
not.
thing.
Right.
So it looks like the story engine has bugged out here, unfortunately. I
It does,
thought we
yeah.
had the farm tools because we went the other way and sort of saw the
Yeah.
farm tools first. Yeah, so we definitely have the tools.
So if you go back again, maybe it needs just to...
Go talk to them.
I kind of like this little voxel dust trail that's going on.
Yeah, it's quite cute, isn't it? But the presentation, well, let's talk about the presentation.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, I mean, I think the presentation's rather nice, actually. It's very atmospheric graphics, there's a little bit of music going on.
There is nice music in the background.
Not much sound effects, I think, but the music's happening.
Yeah.
Controls, you said the jump's a bit strange.
Aside from the jump doing that, it's more like skipping.
It's not clear to me that you need it either.
We're doing a
No.
gallop.
Alright, that's just... I guess
Okay, we've got a bug.
Alright, so we have farm tools for life. Excellent.
So presentation-wise, what I think there's a bit of a failure of information, though, because we've got no sense of what objects we have, and there's no real sense of where we should go.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, the fact that the signs don't actually have writing on them, like, that would be an easy win right there.
So I think information design is problematic, even though the graphics are really quite well done and rather nice. So graphics are consistent, and appropriate use of audio would be good.
Yep.
Information design is not sufficient. Is poor.
So are we satisfactory basically on this
So
one?
I think that given we've got graphics and audio, I think we should probably come up to satisfactory.
Yeah, I agree.
What about gameplay?
Well, I don't really feel like I'm playing a game yet, to be honest.
I'm genuinely not sure I've done anything.
What is the game?
So it's exploratory,
Yeah.
and you're trying to do these quests and make these things work.
Right. But
Have you found a way to break out of the paths? Is this what's going on?
No, I'm following a path up the mountain,
Are you sure?
I think.
I don't know that you're on
No, look,
that.
there's a path. It's a path.
I don't know.
That's a path. That's clearly a...
Is it?
Yeah,
I think it might just be a
I
lighting
think you
zone.
might be wandering.
but there's a path.
So,
When I find something, right?
We'll be amazed.
yeah.
Alright.
So here's the...
Ah, see, thank you. I found the narrative event.
Go on then.
Go on.
Do you need help? I lost my rope and broke my leg. Where is? Where are they?
Sounds like a you problem. I'm tempted, but I feel like we should see what happens. Alright.
I'll do my best to find the rope. Oh yeah, what's the fastest way?
Through a cave to the south. I've just been there. Oh, okay, I need the rope. Alright, so I need...
I'll be back as soon as I can. Uh-oh. Oh,
okay, right.
So another...
It wouldn't let me...
Oh, there's the climber.
Okay, so I said I would help him, and then he said... So I was an ass there, apparently.
So yeah, I think...
There's some bugs in the story engine, it looks like.
Let's go back to the gameplay.
Yeah.
So there is an element of gameplay because it's exploratory and you've got to find things and remember where things are and find your way around.
Absolutely.
And the goals are all set by these kind of narrative events. There's some stuff there.
There is. I think one of the things that's missing, and I don't know how bad it is that it's missing. So in the very beginning, the father said, hurry to save your sister. And obviously all of these side quests are derailing us.
Yeah.
Although we do need to find things in order to save the sister, but we don't know what we need to save the sister. We don't know how much time we have to save the sister,
or where it is, or
how many choices,
or how near we are to it,
and how many choices we can make before the sister's dead, gone, right? So I'm feeling a little bit too lost, I think.
Yeah.
So in terms of gameplay, then, there are some mechanics. There are some The controls seem to be okay, but some of them are a bit strange.
Well, why am I back here?
And there is some meaningful play, but it doesn't quite work, does it?
No.
So a pass would be fewer inconsistent mechanics, challenging controls, and limited meaningful play. It doesn't feel quite as bad as that.
No. No, not at all.
Satisfactory would be a set of mechanics and usable controls that leads to some meaningful play. So it really depends on the leading play. How limited do we think it is? Without the timer, we are just wandering about kind of aimlessly.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm not
even sure we've been able to discover anything to choose. Like, even the few times we've tried to choose, they've said, well, never mind, goodbye. And we got the gear, but we couldn't give the tools. So should
we go halfway between the two, sort of halfway between pass and satisfactory?
Oh, yeah.
We can do.
I'm not. So a pass is fewer inconsistent mechanics, challenging controls, and limited meaningful play.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, well,
I don't think we're there.
It feels a bit better than that, but not much. So I think halfway between the two. Right, bugs. We're getting quite a few bugs.
Yeah, sadly. And they're not major showstoppers, but they are definitely frequent.
Yeah.
In that we have inventory we can't give them. We have made choices in the narrative that they've then ignored and said, piss off, pardon my language.
You say they're not a major issue, but we've not actually managed to complete any quests yet.
Yeah.
I still feel very, very lost as a player. I'm not... Speaking of...
And in fact, like there, right there is an example of exactly. Like, we have the tools.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I'm just not sure what the consequences of these decisions are yet either. Because it's like, do you have my tools? It's like, I'm trying to save my sister from dying. Why do I particularly care about giving you these tools right now?
So a pass for bugs would be a simple game. The game is playable, but there are frequent serious bugs. The game itself, I mean, the environment isn't simple, but the game itself is relatively simple. And there are still fairly frequent bugs, and they are relatively serious because they're stopping us doing any of the quests and actually stopping us completing the game in any kind of meaningful way. So I think the bugs are probably at a pass.
Hey, where's the rope?
Oh, now it tells me my sister has died. As I reach the well, and my father turns me into a raven.
Yeah. So let's go for a pass for the bugs.
Yeah.
I think, just to go back to gameplay for a second, I'd also point out that if there really is a timer on this, doesn't that compete with the exploration elements of the game? Saying you have
so I think the idea is they were trying to give you moral choices. So when somebody says to you, I need a rope, you've got to find me a rope to save me, and you're like, well, do I do that? Because I'm then burning up some of my time that I need to save my sister.
Now you know where the well is. Could you make all the really nasty be mean to everybody and get to the well? Is there a choice? Yeah. Is there a does your sister die? Does she turn into a raven? Like, what happens
if you're horrible?
If you're a horrible person, but you get there.
Let's be a dick to everyone.
Let's talk about the story engine. So, do you make choices that have an impact in the game world?
What does it say in
we
the
don't know
notes?
yet. So in the notes, so there's a narrative structure here. There's a start. I do appreciate this was done on a whiteboard, and we got a picture of it. So there is a beggar, bandits, and a farmer. I noticed that there's not even the guy who fell on this. Yeah. And basically you have a chance to leave, give coin, give tool. So at each point you have a chance to leave, and you get to the well.
Yeah.
Or leave, give coin, give tools, get to the well. So basically they have all the paths that you could just basically leave everybody and get to the well. Or help some of them.
So essentially, there's a bunch of quests which you could or could not do.
Yes.
And then what happens if you do or do not do them?
You always get to the well, but they never actually say what the consequences are with respect to the sister or yourself.
So in actual fact, all they are is distractions.
Yeah.
And it's moral choices, but the consequences in the game are not clear.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the story engine, you make these decisions. Do they have any consequence within the game? Does the game ever change to reflect?
Oh, that's it. I made it to the well. Game over.
So as far as I can tell, the game never changes to reflect the narrative choices you made.
No, not at all.
Is the narrative impacted by any actions you take in the game world? Well, it should be, because you should be able to get things. If you have the rope, you'll get a consequence. But it doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
So it's set up. So I think what's going on here is that there is a one-way story engine, but it's not working.
Yeah.
Right. So a pass would be a basic story engine with poor integration with the game world, and a poor would be some support for story elements but no real story engine. The story has no real impact on the game world and is not really impacted by events there. I think this might be a poor.
Yeah.
I think if they got the interactions, let's try. Can we? Oh, did you ignore them?
No, I'm trying to get his cat.
Right. So okay, let's see if this works. If this works, then we have some evidence that the engine's working. Yes, there you go. So you did take an action and it did have a consequence. Okay, there you go.
It just feels a little bit like, when you play sort of an MMO, you're the big hero, and then it says, "Hey, do you mind just going and rounding up my ducks for me?"
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those, isn't it? Yeah. All hail the new Messiah who's gathered my ducks. But that's important though, because I think it means that this isn't a poor. It probably is a pass. It's a basic story engine with poor integration in the game world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it feels wrong.
So just the fact that we managed to save a cat.
Good job.
Lifts it up a bit, I think. So in terms of agency, branching points and interesting choices. The agency is managed by the fact that they has no consequences. But that's not really what you should be doing. You should be saying you should be making choices that have consequences and then managing those consequences. So I'm not sure that there is really much of an interactive story here. You've got these quests, you've got these little narrative snippets. So a pass would be an interactive story with some branching points, but few interesting choices. But
I don't feel like we have any.
A poor would be an interactive story with few branching points, few interesting choices, and player agency is problematic. And it probably feels down there.
We're there.
Because actually the choices you make don't really have any consequences.
I mean, ultimately it has a consequence that your sister dies, but that's still not agency, right?
But it's not your narrative. Well, I suppose it is sort of your narrative choices because you're wasting the time. But yeah, I think the agency is still poor. I think it's kind of just not well executed. Poetics. How well does the theme fit the story?
Well, it's 7 ravens. You're on an epic quest.
We've not seen any ravens.
But instead of being the sister saving the brothers, you're one brother trying to save the sister.
And you have to get to the well in time, basically.
So I would say that there are some connections, but thematically it's not great.
Especially when you consider that the sacrifices that you estimate, presumably of time.
And the graphics are very atmospheric and they look nice, but do they actually match the story? The kind of race against time element, the kind of it kind of matches more of a kind of a sort of gloomy exploration kind of. I don't know.
Meanwhile, we're actually, the narrative-wise, we are gathering farm tools and helping cats out of trees.
Yeah. I think actually this is.
Where is this rope? I've been trying to find it for the last 5 minutes.
So I think that
should have asked him where the rope was.
I think the narrative and gameplay don't necessarily interfere with one another, but the mechanics are little to do with the themes of story.
Yeah.
But actually there are some conflicts, and there's some conflicts with the aesthetics of the game and what's going on.
Mm.
So I think if everything was in conflict, it would be a pass. It feels maybe a little bit better than that. It's not really damaging, but maybe halfway between a pass and satisfactory.
I think that's where we are.
What about techniques? The way the story is told, and the pacing.
It doesn't feel like there's much pace. So it's told nicely, right? You interact with your father.
Yeah.
He sends you on a quest to save your sister's life.
So you've got a nice dialogue system. Looks good and works. That's one way of delivering the narrative. But there's no other ways of delivering narrative.
Yeah.
There's no real pacing, and there's no climax.
No.
So it feels like it's tried to deliver this sort of tension and ascending pacing as time runs out, but it's not delivered on it.
Well, it hasn't managed to do it because you've got no feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know the time.
So, pacing unclear or flat, partially successful attempt to at least use one game technique. That would be a pass, and I kind of feel that's where it is.
Yeah.
What about feedback? What do they say?
Feedback. So they received 3 pieces of feedback on the game. The light on the character could affect visibility of platforms. How will choices be signposted? And will there be any illusion of choice? So the light on the character was an idea to represent the character's morality through the color and intensity of the light. There were concerns that this could reduce visibility for any platforming sections of the game. We did not implement this feature as we decided that while effective, it would not be worth the time taken to implement and balance the effect.
So the idea of them was that the reason for going with all the lighting thing was that your light would reduce as you became more morally bad. Right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea.
It is an interesting idea.
And I think it's a shame they didn't explore it a bit more.
Because that actually would have a meaningful consequence.
Yeah.
But that would then also tie into this platforming element of the game, and there isn't a platforming element of the game.
No.
Okay, so what was the next piece of feedback?
Choices are signposted via the language and using standard morality. That's basically you have a choice.
Yeah.
And in the scope of this game, we've not considered any illusion of choice as the game's quite short. And a few discrete interactions.
So basically their feedback was that they were given some advice which they didn't do?
Choices are signposted in language, basically in the text dialogues.
But the thing is, I think
there's no...
Technically, the whole thing is sort of illusion of choice in the sense of the actual meaningful branching point at the end.
Yeah.
Doesn't depend on any of these decisions.
But you use illusion of choice in order to make people think they have choice.
It's true.
Not just to not have choice.
This is true.
I'm not entirely sure what they've articulated there in terms of what they did with their feedback.
Yeah. So, again, the feedback they received...
Yeah.
The light on the character could affect visibility of platforms.
Yeah.
How will choices be signposted?
Yeah.
Will there be any illusion of choice?
Well, they didn't do the first one. They signposted choices by just saying it's in the dialogue.
Yep. And they didn't think about illusion of choice.
I would say that poor for this is feedback was not well articulated and few changes have been made with little success.
Yeah.
Absent is almost no serious attempt to include feedback. It almost feels like an absent. I just can't see. They've said the dialogue choices.
Yeah. Well, they articulated what the feedback was. It was there, and then they decided not to act much on it. I don't think it's absent. They did give us
so
writing.
if we said that the way that they've articulated the feedback is kind of somewhere between pass and satisfactory, but their actual actions on the feedback are basically absent.
Yeah.
And that means that we would give them perhaps a poor. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it.
Absolutely.
Let's move on. I think we've got
one more on this round.
One more to do.
Yep.
Tailor's Tale of Shoemaking. So at least it's not 7 ravens.
Yes, that's true. Oh, nice to start your tale. Once upon a time, in a little village on the outskirts of Winchester, there lived an old shoemaker, alone in his workshop. Every day he would answer the door to the salesman, work on his craft table, and sleep in his bed. As he was growing older, however, his ability to craft a good shoe was decreasing drastically. Eventually, this led him to a state of depression. He worked slower and slower and left the house on fewer and fewer occasions. Most of the villagers had assumed him dead. Most, but Vismund, the village salesman, who came to see the shoemaker one morning with some rather bad news. Come the dawn, there was a knock on the door. I quite like setting it up, this is nice. Oh, was to move. Oh, I like that. To start, it's on the wall and you're looking at the wall.
Okay.
Oh, and the knock on the door. I didn't hear a knock on the door, but they told us there's a knock on the door.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any sound on this.
Oh.
My good old crafting table. It's got me through some hard times. There's nothing like a trusty table. Okay.
This is actually a crafting table. So I can choose to spend leather. I have 0.
Yeah.
To make shoes.
Okay, so this is nice. And what's this other trusty crafting table?
No, it's just a table, that one.
So the other identical table, and the bed with dangerous spikes on the end.
Oh God!
That's nice.
Alright.
Oh
dear God!
Good morning, old friend. Cough. I regret to inform you that I have been murdered and replaced with a revenant. I regret to inform you the council tax worth 200 gold for your little workshop is due in 5 days. Wheeze. You better start crafting. I've got just the thing to get you started. Only the finest animal hide from animals growing in happy and loving Cough farms, of course. I rather like this. There's some nice characterization.
It really is.
Tell me, Shoemaker, how many pieces of dead cattle does it take a man's feet warm? 5. I don't have too much time to chat. You know the drill. Write however much you want to buy or sell and click the corresponding button. Make your investments wise, Shoemaker. I won't be back till tomorrow. Right, hang on.
Okay,
so I'm a little bit lost, but what have we got? So leather.
So I need to buy
as much as you can.
So you've got some gold, but we can't see how much you've got because it's hidden.
Okay.
It's hidden behind the box, which is very unfortunate.
Question mark. Okay.
What's this?
Okay. So I think this is selling, and I think this is buying.
And you don't have anything to sell yet.
So I think I just want to buy some leather and close this.
Okay,
right,
so you've spent all your gold. So now you can go to your craft table that's got you through all those hard times. Leave all the leather on the table. That way I will sit tomorrow and get more motivated. Okay. So...
how do I leave the leather on the table?
Just put 5. Oh yeah, leave. Go on, leave it. No change on the table, unfortunately.
So now I'm going to go to sleep.
Go look at the bed. There should be an E. I have to try this one too.
Yeah, okay.
You have to stand and then look at it. Whoa. We're hovering.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I'm glad you knew that. I think I might have given up.
Yeah.
Yes. Having realised the direness of the situation, the shoemaker fell in a state of panic mixed with bold, rather desperate determination and spent the last of his gold on leather.
I'd be interested if this changed if we didn't buy any leather.
Let's find out. He left the leather on the table, and just like that, his flaming red determination shifted to a rather grey apathy. Oh dear.
Went to bed hoping to find inspiration in the morning.
Woke earlier than the much dreaded knock on the door, and to his surprise found that something peculiar had happened overnight. Look at all those things on the table!
E. No, go to the table, press E, please.
What? How can it be? The invisible boots are ready. I don't remember crafting them. The quality, such fine detail. I haven't seen a shoe so well crafted since I used to be able to make them myself. Vismund should be here soon. I can't tell about this. I think I've lost it for sure this time. Oh, there's a knock at the door. It's such a shame they haven't got a knock sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can't craft anything.
I guess
we need to go and talk to Vismund, the zombie salesman demon person.
Excellent.
Whoop, 2, 3, 4. Exhilarating sound of soldiers marching to serve queen and country as their young maidens wither away.
Well, it's definitely getting that depressing vibe, isn't it?
Yeah. Bisman's. Yeah, you want to make friends with him, would you? He's a man to do but crafts the very shoes he once used to walk in. Truly wheeze, poetic shoemaker. Okay. For sale on. I don't get this on demand thing.
There you go. Right. Sell them. There you go.
So
now
I got 20 gold. Now I buy leather.
Buy as much as you can. There you go.
Alright, peace out, Desmond.
So you got no gold, but you okay? So
I'm guessing.
I still can't explain what happened. Maybe I should test it again.
Alright.
Max, leave, sleep.
This is starting to become a trend. Alright. Still not being able to comprehend the mysterious crafting of shoes overnight, the shoemaker left some more leather on the table and went to bed.
He woke up the next day, soon ran up to check his beloved table. Been up to no good. Well then, let's go and find out what's happening on the table. Just like before. And there's a pair of shoes. It's really remarkable. Okay.
Alright.
The door.
Okay.
So we've not actually done any crafting ourselves at all yet.
No. I don't think we've really done anything yet, honestly.
No. I feel like what we're watching is a kind of a... It's almost... It feels like a very... I mean, I presume it's not quite linear, because we could choose to not buy stuff. But we have no reason to not do stuff. So it feels like we're just moving through an animation, basically, at the moment. A Chinese ship is to dock at Southampton later this afternoon. It's bringing high-quality textiles they're already.
Okay, well, let's just bring you something. Okay, that's cool. So let's sell all our shoes.
Max.
So
Sell.
Yeah, this screen is a little bit.
Max. No. Let's buy 10, because maybe he'll come back with some really nice material. Right. Save some gold this time.
Okay.
In fact, yeah. See what happens.
So we're going to make the shoes. So the problem we've got here is what we're actually doing is we're buying leather, making shoes. We have no idea about how many shoes he wants or what the consequences of not doing it or anything.
So he went to bed pondering who might be making the shoes and whether he wanted to interfere. Till he eventually fell asleep and he got some
door. Right.
So we have to visit this table,
right?
right?
Some resolution here. Oh, was there anything there?
2. I made 20 unit and the Queen's tailors all fallen victims.
They haven't touched the clothes yet. I need someone to craft 5 pairs of sneakers.
So we need... we've got to do some maths now. So we've got 15 cloth needed.
Sneaker takes 3 pieces of cloth. Buy the cloth and I'll assume up to the task wheeze. Right.
Oh, and cloth's more expensive. Alright, I see where this is going. Alright, so we've got 60 gold, so I need... How much cloth was it? 15.
Right.
I can't afford 15.
No.
I see what you mean.
Alright, we'll just buy...
Do
max.
So, what's our profit margin on our...
Who knows?
So it's 15 gold, and we make... Oh, whatever, I can't be asked.
Let's just go for it. Max, come on.
12.
Right, done. Let's see what happens.
Alright.
So we have failed because you didn't buy enough, didn't sell enough shoes. It's your problem. So not, you know...
He said he would be back. He didn't come back till the next day. He lied.
Yeah, well, this is all on you. You're going to wreck the royal wedding.
They're royals. They deserve it.
Okay.
And they've clearly oppressed the poor shoemaker.
That's right. All these taxes.
Shoemaker went to bed. Blah blah. The other thing is, this is so repetitive that I think you do end up skipping this text. Like yada yada.
The temptation to mash continue is definitely there.
Yeah.
There was no knock on. Oh, that was it?
After working a few days and taking a few days off, eventually failed to gather the money for his council tax. See the old man. This one was found dead from tuberculosis after coughing and wheezing. You find a new 2 of 5. So, okay, let's go through it. Try and max out this time. Try and make as much money as you possibly can. Okay. And we'll start going through the markets.
I will speed run while you mark.
Okay.
So, presentation. What do we think?
So information-wise, I actually think it was well done, right?
Yeah, it's got days and gold. It's a shame that the dialogue box obscures them.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's
That's
not
right.
bad.
That's right.
I also think that those dialogue boxes that pop up are actually quite confusing. But we managed to navigate around them.
Yep.
You know, and they're functional.
There could be a better buying and selling maxing order so that you do it.
There's no audio, and I think if all they'd done was put a knock sound effect in, right, that would have been very effective.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the graphics are consistent. They look fairly nice. I like the way that you go to the different areas of the room in order to activate the different things.
Yep.
All right. I mean, otherwise, you could have implemented this just as a series of buttons, right? Yeah. The only thing, but they've integrated it into the environment of the shop.
Absolutely. And I will say, as far as information presentation too, there is a character, right? There is a definite tonal difference between the Vizimud character and the Shoemaker's intro box.
It's quite nicely done. So if we look at the presentation, satisfactory would be key information is shown, consistent graphics and some audio. And good would be key information is shown clearly, graphics are consistent, appropriate use of audio. I would say that the information design and the graphics are probably just about good, but there's no audio.
Yeah.
And no audio would be down sort of
take
or past sort of level.
Yeah.
So maybe satisfactory, just to
yeah, I think so. I think so. Here's your first choice. Here's a choice.
What children?
I skipped back to...
Sorry, it's okay. I will. There was... he heard some rustlings while he was asleep, and he woke up, and he opened the door, and he caught two children making the shoes, and they themselves were barefoot as they were sneaking out the door.
So what made you what caused you to wake up?
A noise while you were
sleeping. Why was it activated? Why didn't we wake up last time and discover this?
There were not enough things being made.
Oh, okay. So we make lots of stuff.
Yeah.
So do we give the children the shoes?
I mean, then I won't have enough shoes for the royal wedding.
You're right. Keep the shoes.
Right.
We've got to keep the children happy.
Well, hang on. No, because if we lose the children, then we won't have enough.
Wow! Wait, we're a mercenary.
Lose the children?
If we lose the children, who's going to make the shoes?
And then we won't get 200 gold for the taxes.
There we go.
Right, have the shoes.
But we didn't give them shoes last time.
Well, we all died. We lost the...
Okay, alright.
Actually, that would have given us 200 gold. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Soon after he fell asleep. Come the dawn.
Alright, Vesemond.
You got lost. Oh, yeah.
How many we only have 3 sassy sneakers this time.
Because you gave 2 to the children.
Yeah.
I just...
Cough, cough. These shoes, I saw my children wearing them this morning. Oh, there you are. I'm sure the Queen will understand.
We're a kind old bloke.
We've been promoted by Ism to become a trainer in a local tailoring academy. Ismond's children were one of his first and best disciples. They wanted to start business of their own. So we saved Ismond.
Okay.
Okay. This is all still feeling a little bit random, but it's quite fun exploring the different paths.
Okay.
So off you go.
Keep going.
Let them go barefoot. I've got kids. They like running around barefoot. Gameplay.
So where are we? Gameplay.
Yeah. So okay, so what are the mechanics? And how are the controls I think are usable.
Absolutely.
And it's all fine.
The mechanics are kind of the how much are you willing to buy and sell at each point, right? So it's a bartering thing.
It feels to me though that I don't know, there's what should be happening is there should be a game that we're engaged with where we're making shoes, and then these narrative events come in and sort of disrupt that game.
Yeah. I will say I mean the mechanic really is this buying and selling thing, and I find it a bit boring after the first bit.
Well, it's because that's all that's going on.
Yes.
So I think if we were busy trying to kind of create the shoes and make some money in order to do different things, and maybe trying to deal on different orders or balance what types of shoes we were making with different things or something. Do I keep the cloth today so I can make something expensive tomorrow and all that kind of thing? And if that was happening, then it makes more sense.
Yes.
And when these things happen, and it's like, well, do I give the shoes away? Do I act in this way? They have meaning to me, but they don't have meaning to me because that's all I'm engaged with.
Yeah.
And the mechanics really feels like you're just kind of going through the motions, really.
There's not any real meaningful choice here because there is a clear optimal strategy. Like now, I just sell my boots, and the obvious thing to do is switch to the cloth I need for this guy.
So yeah, do that.
How much do you need?
I actually only need 15, I think.
Yeah, and then get some boots. So get some leather.
I can't actually buy enough leather to make boots.
No. Oh,
That's
really?
okay, so
Well,
just
buy
go-
one of
go
those
buy
and
that.
then buy... Yep, now max that. There you go. You can buy
I get a bit of leather.
Okay, let's see what happens.
I don't know.
So in terms of the gameplay then, satisfactory would be a set of mechanics and usable controls that lead to meaningful play. And a pass would be fewer inconsistent mechanics, challenging controls leading to limited meaningful play. I don't think the controls are challenging,
No.
but we do have few
It's
mechanics,
kind of very small, exactly.
and we've got very limited meaningful play.
Yep.
I'd still be tempted. I know that the controls aren't challenging; they still work.
Yeah.
But I still think they're a bit confused. I'd be still tempted to give them a pass for gameplay.
It is. So we just made it. We didn't give the children the shoes.
Yeah, start his own trademark with Shoemaker Elves.
I'm just...
the main issue with charters. Okay. So yeah, I think the gameplay. I agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Bugs.
I didn't see any
seems
bugs.
to work fine.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, it seems to work rather well.
Yeah.
And also, there's a reasonable amount of complexity here.
Agree.
You've got the environment you're exploring, you've got the little interactive dialogue bit, you've got the dialogue system.
You've got the bartering system. Exactly. I actually think it's very well done.
So I would say there are no bugs despite the complexity of the game. I would say maybe excellent.
I agree with that.
Okay, story engine. You make decisions, and they affect the game world, and the game world then reflects the decisions you've made. Right, well, you make decisions.
The narrative changes what Visimood says.
So you definitely make decisions. They definitely affect what happens.
Yeah.
In the game world, so you get. What do you? Hang on, it's the other way around, isn't it? So you the things you do in the game world to do with how much you buy and sell impacts the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely goes that way.
Yeah.
And it does go the other way, but only with the children. So it gives you that choice about do you do the children, and then that hasn't. So it does go both ways.
Yeah.
It does go both ways. So I think this comes down to the level of integration. So do we think that it's well integrated? Whether there's just some integration, or how well we think the integration works? It doesn't feel like it's that well integrated. There's one or two very defined points
where they do it,
but it's not throughout the game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think what we have here is probably just a good would be an effective story integration with some integration, and it goes both ways. So it probably is. Probably hits good.
I think it's a good.
Yeah. So story engine is good. Agency. An interactive story with several branching points, interesting choices, and attempts to manage agency.
So I think the user has agency at this point. I think some of my problem with this is I don't really have a meaningful choice. I just max out what I'm buying.
Yeah.
And
like what? Yeah.
And
so there is one interesting choice, which is do you give the kids the shoes?
That's right.
So, and actually, the interesting thing is, although it has no mechanical, it doesn't affect our ability to make new shoes or anything like that. It because of the characterization of the Shoemaker and Visimood, it sort of works, I think. And you think, oh, okay, should I? It feels like a real. Within the states, within the structure of the fiction, it feels like a real world. It feels like you're making a meaningful choice. So I think there is a choice there. So it definitely counts as at least a few interesting choices, or at least one interesting choice. But there's more than that, is there? So a pass would be an interactive story with some branching points, but few interesting choices.
Right.
And I think that might be what it is, because it does have several branching points.
Yeah, it has branching points, but
really just that one interesting one.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
for example,
it's probably a pass for that reason.
That was a bit of a frustrating run, and at least it would have been if we'd not seen the other results, because I chose to sleep on the first day, and then played 2 more days of just maxing out the selling, and I just went, no, not enough time left, not enough money.
Yeah.
And so, okay. I didn't know I'd accidentally shot myself in the foot.
Let's put it as a pass because I think that the choices you're making are quite limited.
Yeah.
What about the poetics? So how well does this fit? Well, I mean, it clearly fits the theme of the story.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a nice little thing there about do you give the shoes away? So,
even though you're worried about your rent.
So I think the problem here is the execution, not the idea.
Absolutely.
So I would say that the good for poetics is narrative and gameplay complement one another, and the key mechanics are in keeping with the themes of the story.
I think that's where we are.
And I think it is there. It might be verging on the excellence, which is where they support one another, because of the. But I just don't think it's enough. The execution isn't enough.
Yep.
But I think it's still good.
Yep.
And what about the techniques?
Whoa.
It goes better there.
Wow.
Now you're probably wondering why I still bother narrating the dull, uneventful everyday life of some old man. It's because this is not a story about what is seen, but well, what isn't. Okay, that's quite sweet.
That was.
He saw his wife. She was the same as back when he saw her, young, beautiful, and full of life. He saw her sitting on the table opposite the bed. She was smiling and laughing.
Aww.
Oh, that's her table. That other table is her wife's table.
Oh, that's quite nice.
Dora tried to hide her tears as he was called up for military service.
That's quite dark.
Yeah. He saw no more, an empty house, a cold bed, and a tombstone larger than life read, "Here lies an abandoned wife and an unborn child." Blimey, that's gone dark very quickly.
This is the consequence for spending 3 days in bed, apparently.
As the tombstone fell forward, trying to crush the shoemaker, he woke up. There was a knock on the door. See, so we're on I think it's an appropriate time to see that.
Wow.
Is this a life worth living?
It shames you for staying in bed.
So I think that the narrative of this, they've done a really good job of characterising the shoemaker.
Yes, they
and
have.
Visman.
And Visman.
There's a lot of interesting narrative stuff going on. It's crikey. It's not even. It's just a shame it's not better linked with the gameplay itself.
Absolutely.
Right? And it kind of like it's going on and it's entirely separate to that gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but the sound of silence. A friend who wasn't there.
Alright, we got all 5 endings.
There you are. So, I love these little denouements. So the story is told through the interaction of the dialogues, but also you get these things at the end.
Absolutely.
So there's multiple ways of telling the story.
Yep.
The characterization, I think, is really nice.
Amazingly done.
It kind of thematically, I think it kind of works with the story too. Pacing though, where are we with pacing? Well, we go through the different days.
We have days.
There's the royal wedding at the end, so there is a climax.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a few happies, there's a few sads, and they actually kind of accelerate for the happy, and they go fast for the sad as well.
So I would say that there's kind of maybe limited pacing, but there is clearly a kind of a climax and this denouement. So there is clearly some work done there. Good would be ascending pacing with a clear final peak, use of more than one game writing technique. Excellent would be ascending pacing with more than one peak and appropriate use of more than one game writing technique.
I'm not sure there's more than one peak.
There is
multiple game writing techniques. I'm happy between those two.
And I think it is an appropriate use. Praiseworthy by way is sophisticated use of several game writing techniques. I would say that. I mean, again, the integration is but the writing is very good.
The writing is very good.
So I think the writing, the use of techniques is probably excellent. The pacing is probably good. Halfway between the two.
Yeah.
Okay. Feedback. What do they say their feedback was?
Feedback. The feedback from the lab was to focus more on the story element of the game rather than the gameplay mechanics, as the original concept was to have an upgradable crafting table and a lot more items.
Yeah.
Bearing that in mind, I decided to only do the upgrade feature when the narrative is finished.
Yeah.
Additional feedback I received from people playtesting the game, yay, playtesting, was to remove all the non-interactable items that intuitively look like they should be interactable, like chests and other containers.
Yeah.
So it's a much more minimalistic design, and I think that's right.
Yeah, that works.
That's a really good thing, because we wanted to try to play with everything in the room.
Yeah. So I think that they missed a trick though, in that I think it was probably sensible to take away a lot of the complexity around the crafting table.
Yeah.
But they needed some game based around the crafting table.
They did, yeah.
And it didn't have to be very significant, but it had to be something. And what they've done is they've thrown everything away, as opposed to just got rid of the complexity.
Yeah. So I think they articulated their feedback.
Yeah.
They tried.
And they've had some partial success.
Yeah.
So that would be satisfactory.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So I think that was our final game. So there are quite a few there. So thanks for being with us, and we will see you for another video.
Take care.